I've eaten a lot of raccoon. Yes. The answer is yes. And I've eaten it hunting. I've actually had it served by my mom at the table away from hunting. And I have eaten raccoon. And yes, it's not uncommon at all. I'll tell you something that is one of my favorites is squirrel. And it's wonderful, and my mother could do a great job of it. And we all had our favorite pieces, and my dad and sister, I have one sibling, a sister, and they would fight over, not fight, but my mom and I, they were just my sister and I as for a sibling. My mom and I wouldn't even ask for the brain in a squirrel.
Oh, man. Oh.
And delicious, seriously.
My dad loves cow brain.
My sister always got it, or my dad.
The fight over the brain. Jerry?
Well, good morning, good people. Happy day after Christmas. And as always, Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as the new crowd favorite, the Funky Chicken. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Don't forget about BetUS. We're coming down to the last two regular season games of the season, man. Don't forget, if you've been interested in doing some betting, check out BetUS, where you can basically play with house money, because they have 150% matching. If you use the promo code YouTube150, you'll get 150% matching on your first three deposits of up to $2,000 on each one of those. Man, you know what? Oh my God. It has been quiet here from Eagle fans. Okay, yes, I'm trolling. I am trolling Eagle fans. I'm trolling Philly 500 because I ain't heard from my son. I literally have not heard from my son. I don't know what's going on. You know, he used to admit that, you know, hey, Dad, I love you and all. I didn't get a Christmas card. I didn't get a Christmas present. But
by the way, King Dick back here. And so before we start this video, I got to get this mother humping thing out of the way. Mark Holmes is my daddy. Okay, that's out of the way. Ow!
Oh, you got to love that. You got to love my son, Philly 500. So we've got the Eagles this week, and after being mollywopped at home, the Cowboys have a chance, of course, to hopefully get a little bit of payback. It doesn't matter as far as playoffs goes. This is about pride. And I tell you what's funny sometimes is I don't want to sound arrogant. I don't want to sound arrogant. But several months ago, I remember saying, before it was cool, don't be surprised if Mike McCarthy is the coach of the Cowboys next year. I said that because I said, you know, when Jerry was looking at this and, you know, and started talking about it, you could literally see that they're beginning to accept some responsibility. And I dare say, if Mike McCarthy is brought back, it may be good for the organization, because you're not looking and saying everything was great, it's only the coach that's the problem. They have to recognize that they played a part in the failure of the team. And I also said that this may have been the plan, you know, where we've heard, you know, from a lot of the talking heads, you know, guys like Mike Fisher and things like that, who have been saying all along that this is a soft rebuild, that we're trying to rebuild. And if you know that you're doing a soft rebuild, you're not really planning on winning a Super Bowl then. You're saying we're trying to win it later on, and so we're going to take our lumps. And I believe that somehow that Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb and Mike McCarthy and everybody's kind of said to themselves, listen, we're going to take our lumps this year. This is going to be about down the road. We got to clear up cap space and stuff. Mike McCarthy, we haven't done the contract and stuff yet, but here's the thing. We're trying to go ahead and get ourselves in a position to maybe win it down the road. That's my belief, and I started saying that ahead of the curve. And then I was sitting here, and I remember yesterday morning, my morning video, I was saying about how hard Jerry Jones seems to be kissing Mike McCarthy's ass, because they're worried about losing Mike McCarthy. There's no guarantee that Mike McCarthy says, yeah, I want to come back to this shitstorm where I get blamed for everything. Right now, to have taken this team in comparison to what's happened to other teams that are losing and saying, I've been able to turn this ship around where we're at least playing well, the way I have developed quarterbacks, especially, you looked at, say, with Dak Prescott there last year, who was at the pinnacle of his stuff. He was runner-up MVP, and now taking Cooper Rush, who's been basically an undrafted journeyman, and having Cooper Rush playing efficiently. A lot of teams might not look at Mike McCarthy and say he's a failure. If anything, they might say he's overachieved for what the Joneses have done. You've seen other teams that have gone out there and gotten great players like Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, only to fall flat on their face. The Cowboys literally did nothing to improve their team. They literally did things to hamstring their team, from letting go players like Amari Cooper for a ham sandwich. It would have been different if you'd gotten rid of Amari Cooper. Maybe you got a second-round pick to replace him. But you got a fifth round that you did nothing with. And then you turn around and you end up taking fourth-round draft picks, and you just wasted on getting a quarterback in Trey Lance that hasn't hit the field at all. And then you trade and get a guy with a fourth-round pick like Mingo. Does it make sense to you? Do you look at the front office and say, that was a great move to get rid of Cooper Rush for a fifth round and spend a fourth-round pick for Mingo? Does that really make sense to anybody? Does anybody look and say, well, hey, that's great moves for the coaches. He should be able to win with those kind of moves. That's actually the Cowboys taking some ownership to it. And looking at that, if you're Mike McCarthy, after having 3 seasons of 12-5 with the Cowboys doing nothing, and people before say, well, you had Aaron Rodgers, it was just Aaron Rodgers that made you relevant, but seeing how Aaron Rodgers has done nothing without Mike McCarthy, you kind of look at this and say, maybe Mike McCarthy isn't as bad as everybody thinks. Maybe he's not as bad as everybody thinks. And he has won a Super Bowl. And all these Johnny-come-latelys that you're seeing that are falling by the wayside, your Robert Salas, your Mike, what's his name down in Miami's, the Anthony Pierces, you might look at this and say, maybe I need to go ahead and get myself a veteran coach. Maybe I'm better off with a guy like that. So Mike McCarthy, I think, can get another job. Lord knows if all of the disciples of Bill Belichick can get a second job after completely falling on their face, why wouldn't he? And so this is where I think that the Cowboys effed around, and now they're finding out that Mike McCarthy may have options, and it doesn't necessarily mean, please, sir, can I have a job with the Cowboys? That he's not begging for one. And the same thing about Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer's done gone through, I'm 68 years old. This is a lot. And I've been called everything but a child of God. Do I want to do this again? Be under the microscope of the Cowboys like this? And so I think the Cowboys recognize that they may have it better than they think and could lose it. So that was my premise yesterday. And lo and behold, it seems like now everybody's kind of talking about it. I see, Mike Fisher was talking about it this morning because he said that Chase Daniels was talking about it, so he was commenting on that and putting holes in that theory. And USA Today was talking about it. I'm just kind of like, wow, okay. Is it great minds think alike or something else? I don't know. But here's what I know. We play the Eagles on Sunday, and if the Cowboys find a way to beat the Eagles, first of all, it's going to be, well, they didn't have Jalen Hurts. Well, we have Cooper Rush. So it's not like we have, Tom Brady out there, our damn selves. And we have been decimated by injuries. But here's what's kind of cool. I'm reading this article this morning by Elliot Parks. Eagles versus Cowboys strengths and weaknesses. This is just going to read a little bit of it. Over the last 5 games, the Cowboys are a shocking 4-1. They are still playing hard, and they're still playing the best football of the season despite being eliminated from the playoffs. Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. They're doing it by taking care of the football and taking away at an unreal rate. 12 takeaways in the last 5 games, and their best players have been special. Now, see, this is where I love this. Because, see, I don't think people realize when they say, well, Cowboys should trade Micah Parsons. Yeah, trade Micah. In the last 5 games, CeeDee Lamb with Cooper Rush, 34 catches, 420 yards. About 80 yards a game. 2 TDs, okay? Rico, 97 carries, 501 yards, 1 TD. You'd like to see the TDs up in there, but he's averaging 100 yards a game. He's averaging 5 yards a carry, slightly over 5 yards a carry, 5.008 or something like that. But this is the one that should blow your mind. In the last 5 games, Micah Parsons, I want you to think about this for a second. 30 pressures, 8 sacks, 7 quarterback hits, and 15 hurries. Okay? Right? That may not sound like a lot to you. Hypothetically, if he were to stay on that kind of pace for a whole season, and you probably can't. You can't. But I want you to think what that would be. That is on a 27.2 sack rate for a season. That's Deacon Jones, who said, go back and look at the film. I had 28 in one season, which is before they started counting that as a stat. 22 and a half, I believe, is the NFL record. 102 pressures is what that equates to. 24 quarterback hits and 51 hurries. Bro. That's insane. Now, I will pump the brakes just a little bit because one of those games was against the Giants. One of those games was against Carolina. One of those games was against the Bengals. One of those games was against the Commanders. One of those games was against Tampa Bay. Not exactly, playing Kansas City and Baltimore. I get that. But getting sacks, 8 sacks in 5 games, people, that guy is balling. And to just nonchalantly say, get rid of that guy, I'm sorry, you're dumb as shit. You're dumb as shit. You don't get rid of guys that are playing like this. And I don't know, whatever they did with Micah Parsons after injury, they need to find out what the hell they did, because going into that injury, he had 1 sack in 4 games. Coming back from his injury, he's been lights out. So whatever the hell they did to Micah Parsons, I don't know if they, went through and it was like the $6 million man, okay, or maybe it's $6 billion man, that they put some bionics in him or something. I don't know what it is, but that's insane, those kinds of numbers. And I hope that he ends up getting a couple more this weekend, sacks. Get into the double digits so that way you are one of 5 guys to have double-digit sacks every year of your career. You're up there in rare air with the greats in the history of football. And that's what should give you at least hope for the future. We'll see what happens. But in my mind, you have to look at Mike McCarthy. The fact that people are actually having the conversation of maybe Cooper Rush could replace Dak Prescott, or that there may be, and this is another one I said, this is another thing I said too, and we'll see if others follow along, is that Cooper Rush may be a commodity that people would like to have next year. Bro, Cooper Rush, he's got a noodle arm, I'll give you that, but he's not making mistakes right now. He's doing and playing within the offense and what Mike McCarthy is teaching him. So you got to like that. So let's finish this morning. Listen to one Cooper Rush post game.
All-city deal or less. Just talk about the fight this team has showed. I don't know, when did you find out, and when did the team find out you had been eliminated from the playoffs, and just to flip from those emotions to coming out here and giving the effort y'all gave tonight?
Yeah, I'm assuming we all knew when we were watching the end of that Washington game. Crazy ending, but that's when you knew. So, but it just shows the type of guys in the locker room. Everyone's out there competing, fighting to win, playing for each other. That showed up tonight. Both sides of the ball stepping up when they needed to. The defense in the fourth quarter, unbelievable.
What you say about Mike and how he's led this locker room for you guys to have this attitude to continue to play when essentially there's nothing to play for?
Yeah, I don't think it's. I think the guys in the locker room that we have, I don't think it takes much. I mean, that's just who we are. And Mike's created that culture over the years. I mean, we a lot of wins and a lot of players with a lot of wins in that locker room over the last 3 seasons. So we know what it's about. We know who we are as competitors. And when you're playing football, you're competing to win.
Cooper Tyler Archer with ESPN. How did you find it? Were you watching the game here? Were you driving in at the end of the Washington-Philly game? How did you find out?
Yeah, just watching it on the drive in. Yeah, and crazy ending, crazy one.
You weren't driving, right?
I was listening, looking. Yeah, right.
And was the plan to be that aggressive in the first half and testing these guys and getting it downfield? Yeah,
we knew they were going to load the box. That's their operation. I mean, all night you got 9-man boxes with heavy personnel and things like that. That's just kind of what they do. So we knew we had to jump out there early and get some play action going and get down the field.
Sadius of The Athletic. Cooper, you spread the ball around to 8 different receivers. Just how important was that for you to get everybody involved from backs, tight ends, receivers, everything?
Yeah, guys were stepping in. The backs were doing a great job. Rico did a great job of getting out fast when his protection things weren't there. He caught a few checkdowns that way. Our screen game was good. And whoever was in there, they made the catches when they needed to. JT makes a great one on a great route when his number's called for the touchdown. Flo makes one over the middle. We come back to CD on another go ball. He makes it. So, I mean, it was guys just stepping up when the numbers were called.
I know you mentioned before that you don't really look at yards per attempt and things like that, but for you to push the ball down the field the way you did today, did you feel like that was something that they were just giving you, or is that something you wanted to do?
Yeah, I just think we had a good plan going in. The defense dictates a lot of that stuff, and I think Mike did an unbelievable job. We got us in some great looks and took advantage of them loading the box up, and guys got running downfield and making plays.
Nick Harris, Forward Star Telegram. Whenever the playoffs are out of the equation, you're coming into this night. Understand you only have 3 games left to show whatever you have left. There's a lot of guys that are on contract years, including yourself. Do you allow yourself to kind of put yourself in that thinking, or is it still kind of a game-by-game mindset at that point?
Yeah, it's game by game. You don't have time to, look too far ahead or things like that. And when you're out there, you're not thinking about any of that. You're playing, and you prep all week to go out there and play well and let it take care of itself.
Got a couple of big plays with CD. What can you just say about his resiliency through the injuries he's been facing?
Yeah, he's a warrior. I mean, that guy is tough as they come. He's out there moving them around, throwing to him or handing to him, and felt real good to get him down the field tonight. He's been doing a lot of, shorter stuff, throwing screens, yards after catch, and tonight he showed what he can do down the field too.
Tommy Yarsh, DallasCowboys.com. Mike told us that before the game the only pregame adjustment he made was taking the ball if he won the coin toss. With that, aggression or wanting to start with the ball, how does that make you feel knowing that, Mike's trusting you to go down the field early and get some points on the board?
Yeah, as offense, we're all for it. He said it right before we went out there, and was definitely pumped about it. I think the whole offense was pumped about it. It's never fun getting ready to go out there, and then you hope it's a 3 and out, but you want the ball right away.
Elwin Henderson, Gilmer Mirror. How good did it make you guys feel getting the field goal on that first possession and then seeing the defense do what they did the whole game?
Yeah, those guys have been playing their butts off. I mean, even the guys who stepped in today, Kendrick's being out, Nick in there, and you can look all the way up and down the team, really, guys stepping up, playing well, and they're creating turnovers. They're going and attacking that ball, and our job is to capitalize on them. And, we got enough points there in the first half and early in the third, but, they bail us out there in the fourth, but the team win.
Clarence.
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. Nick.
There's some people that would say that there's nothing left to play for these final 2 weeks. But what is there to play for?
Everything. I mean, this is your life. This is ball. This is what you do. You get paid to do it. I don't think people need much more motivation.
Two plays in particular, just as a quarterback, I mean, Jordan Lewis's interception, one for you watching that, Baker makes that throw. Just what are you thinking when the ball's in the air and then when he actually comes down with the ball?
Jay Lou just showing off his veteran presence there. Like, to not panic in that situation for a DB is huge. He's got tremendous ball skills. He's played a long time, and to not panic, and a lot of times you see that's pass interference. He doesn't panic, punch through the pocket, I think, and just I didn't really get a great look at it. I guess he just ripped it away from the guy. But obviously that was a big time game-saving play.
In the second play, did you think Baker, they were going to stop progress, and then he gets the ball out and Duran strips it? Just what were your emotions through that whole play?
We got a sack, and then, oh no, he pitched it, and then, but you saw, number one had that thing out there, and our guys have been hunting that ball. You can see it when they tackle. You can see the physicality they're bringing when they hit, and it's producing fumbles.
What's the calmness that you feel when Aubrey, you'd get to, the 40, and Aubrey's going to make it for you?
It's unbelievable. Yeah, it is a true weapon. We are definitely spoiled. I took a sack in that 2-minute drill. You take a sack, you think, oh crap, we're out of field goal range, and then you're like, oh, we're on the 40. He goes, it's good. It's more yards for me. That's what he said. So it's a weapon. Between him and Terp gets you field position, you get a few first downs, and you're in field goal range, and those guys are doing a great job.
Okay. All right, there you have it. Cooper Rush. Shout out to Cooper Rush and the Dallas Cowboys. We'll see what we do on Sunday, and we're keeping word out. So far, yesterday they didn't actually practice. They actually put out, if we were to practice, a practice list and injury report. But we will definitely be keeping eye on whether or not Jalen Hurts gets out of concussion protocol. As always, I appreciate you guys, and see you soon. Peace.